Hello, everyone. Good evening, good day, wherever it is you're watching. Guys, so nice to see so many of you in chat. I'm so sorry I'm a minute or two late. I had a couple of issues where, for those of you that have been here a long while, will know that we're now on this new, shiny, awesome system, which is a much better experience, not only for you guys at home, but for our guests as well. And for whatever reason, the old Zoom system decided it wanted to send out a link to our guests. So, Amanda, if you are listening, I'm so sorry if you've had a stressful couple of minutes. I'll give you a few minutes to get comfortable and everything whilst I warm everyone up, and then I'll be bringing you in shortly. But thank you so much for your patience and any trouble that you had, guys. It is awesome to see so many of you here. If it is your first time here, guys, firstly, welcome. My name's Joel, and this is the Chronic Pain Club talk show. We don't talk only about chronic pain, basically anything where anyone's got a story to tell for awareness, for any amazing stuff they're doing in the advocacy space, or disability work, campaigning. Ultimately, a long while ago, I realized there was only so many times I could tell my story. So the whole point of the Chronic Pain Club is to amplify and promote others' stories to help raise awareness. So that's why we're here. We used to be over on Twitch. We still do stuff on Twitch, which you can find at twitch.tv/Joel versus Arthritis. But we are now on YouTube for this show, which has been an amazing success. Like, I've been blown away by how popular it is. And we also multi-stream now to LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. So if you're watching on one of those three platforms, first of all, hello. Please say hello in chat. It will come up in chat. However, be aware that when we start the interview, out of courtesy of our guest, I take the chat off screen. So you will only be able to chat with the people on the platform you're watching with. If you want to carry on this conversation, as you can see, it's streaming away here on the side, then you'll see most of them have got a little YouTube logo next to them because they are doing that chat and watching on YouTube. So yeah, please head over to youtube.com/Joel versus Arthritis if you want to carry on the conversation, because the whole point of this show is that we want we're trying to build a peer support community. We're raising awareness, but also trying to build a peer support community. We want you guys to help each other. That's why we do the Discord stuff, the Twitch stuff, the YouTube stuff. And we could be talking about other subjects, but if you guys want to help each other in chat whilst that conversation is going on, then please do. And as always, guys, when the conversation's over and we let our guest get back to their Sunday, I will stick online for as long as you guys have stuff you want to share. If there's nothing to go through, then I'll let you get on your way and wish you a good start to the new week. If there is stuff you want to cover, stories you want to share, questions you want to ask, then I'll hang around for an hour or so afterwards to do that. So if you have those sort of burning questions for the community that you want me to cover when I'm on screen, then we can do that. Save them for the end. But before I do anything else, I better get some introductions done to the guys who have joined us in chat. Ricky, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Snuffle, here as ever. Punky, it's good to see you over on YouTube, mate. Appreciate it. Petra, thank you for joining us. I don't think I've seen you in the Chronic Pain Club before, so thank you for making the effort and joining our Discord earlier this week as well. Really appreciate it. Simon's here. Lauren's here. Welcome, Lauren. Feels weird calling you Lauren. After all, I know all you guys have different names on Twitch. So many people, guys. This is awesome for a start of the show. Normally you sort of come in dribs and drabs. Near Cheeks, welcome in. Giuseppe, welcome in. Nice to see you. How's your weekend been? I can see in the green room Amanda's waving frantically, so I'm guessing Amanda knows Giuseppe. How is everyone doing, guys? Yeah, feel free to share your weekend, share your sort of fears, anxieties, plans for next week. Like I say, the whole point here, guys, is it's a chronic illness community, peer support community. Me and Amanda will be chatting away. If you learn stuff from that, great. Lots of people watch this back on YouTube, listen to it back on the podcast months down the line as well. So if you want to be part of that conversation, firstly, if you're watching or listening to this back, join us live, 7 o'clock GMT on Sunday evenings. Or you guys who are with us live already, just get involved, talk to each other in chat, because it's why we're here, to start those conversations. Lindsay, welcome in. I hope you're well. Guys, this is awesome. Ricky, how's the ribs, by the way, as well? How are you recovering? So yeah, guys, if you're first time here, welcome in. This Chronic Pain Club talk show. We stream live on Sunday evenings. You can find all of our episodes on this YouTube channel if that's where you're watching. If not, head over to youtube.com/Joel versus Arthritis. And you can also find these in audio format. If podcast is your thing, I listen to most of my content walking the dog and driving, etc. Go search Joel versus Arthritis, Joel vs Arthritis, wherever it is you listen to podcasts. and you will find all the previous episodes there as well. They go in a slightly different order, so if you can't find the one you want, don't worry, subscribe to it. It'll drop into your feed in good time. But just so that we're not throwing the same content out there on all platforms, we do mix up the order a little bit. Amanda's looking far too energetic, guys, in the green room. Like, far too energetic. I wish I would need to borrow some of Amanda's energy. So this should be good, guys. This should be good, because I've had one of those days where, if anyone who's here in the UK will know, it's the second 3-day bank weekend in a row. Last week was May Day bank holiday weekend. This week is the coronation stuff. And yeah, I've done a lot of sort of solo parent, and I ache. I'm tired. I needed this chat tonight, so I'm very much looking forward to it. Right, guys, at this point, I will hide the chat. We'll bring in our guest. Please keep the conversation going. You'll still be able to see it if you're watching us on YouTube, or if you talk amongst yourselves on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. But from this point on, the chat will go, but I can still see it, and I will feature the best ones, guys. So as the conversation goes on, Amanda and I won't be paying attention to them, but for the benefit of viewers at home, for the benefit of people watching this back, I will feature the best comments and questions and things on screen, and then we'll pick up some of them at the end as well, if we've got time, guys. So yeah, keep the conversation going, because ultimately it's about you guys talking to each other as much as it's about me and Amanda tonight. So let's just get rid of that. Let me turn off the music, because I always forget. I would normally do an intro here, but I'm going to bring Amanda in with the pom-pom straight away. Amanda, how are you? That is one hell of an entrance.
Thank you. Happy Lupus Awareness Month. Happy Mental Health Awareness Month. And is it also Arthritis Month?
It's also Arthritis Awareness Month as well. It's a very busy month for you and me, as I'm sure it is you as well.
It's it's a beautiful day. It's a great evening, I guess, in the UK, and I'm really honored and proud to be part of your team, invited here. I appreciate your time, and thank you for the invitation so I can share.
Thank you. And like I say, you've been waiting a long while when you signed up. So like I say, we've changed systems, everything. We're all glossy now.
No. I wanted Lupus Awareness Month. I wanted to wear purple.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I should have wore purple. I've got a purple down the bottom corner, and I've got purple lights behind me. Yeah, but I forgot my purple t-shirt. So, guys, for anyone that isn't familiar with Amanda's work, I did have an awesome little introduction, but the pom-poms looked so amazing. I felt like I had to bring you in early. But I would have said that you're an absolute rock star of the advocacy space, and somebody that from the day one of me sort of advocating, I just seem to come across your name with a handful of others doing things way ahead of, before people cottoned on to the importance of that sort of patient leader work. I think I'm right in saying that you've also won a WIGA award like myself, and you do amazing stuff in the sort of lupus awareness campaign, and you're another firm believer, I believe, of the whole sharing as caring and sharing stories and everything else to have that impact. So I didn't get to do that as well as I would have liked to have done for you, but you came in with such a bang. I felt it was worth bringing you straight in.
Thank you. Well, I am Amanda Greene, but on Twitter I'm LA Lupus Lady. Mm-hmm. And on Instagram I'm just Miss Amanda Greene, MS Amanda Greene, no spaces, nothing. So I'm pretty active on Twitter and Instagram, talking about lupus awareness pretty much 365, 24/7, because when you live with lupus, it's not just May. But this May, I am proud to say that I have received a Healthy Voices Impact Fund grant. And unfortunately, Healthy Voices is, I think, just right now limited to the United States or possibly North America. So I'm sorry, Joel, but when we get it international, you're going to get one.
Yeah, I'm determined to come to the conference before I can do the work. But yeah, please tell us a bit about that, because I've seen some of the projects being shared online. There's amazing stuff.
So everybody likes to share lupus awareness and their stories during May, and I've done it. I've had lupus a long time, and I've been raising awareness for a while. So I wanted to be a little different this May, and I wanted to share that how something that has worked for me could possibly help me raise awareness, because, awareness is boring. If you want to, not boring, but facts are facts. Yeah. Unfortunately, lupus is a complex chronic autoimmune disease. There's no cure. 90% of the patients are women. And there's a lot of joint pain involved. There's a lot of fatigue involved. But I found slime.
Tell us more.
way I mean, I might be talking about the facts, but you might be a little distracted, but the facts might stick with you. And if you notice right now, it's a little blue and red. Hopefully it will be transforming into purple for lupus awareness.
It's almost like you got this all planned out, Amanda.
Well, I like to say lupus awareness is fun. Raising awareness is fun.
Yeah.
Living with lupus, not so much. It's not fun. But if I have to live with lupus, I'm going to share and make it interesting. And also, in case people that are living with lupus are watching, slime's not that expensive. And it's an incredible way to get your fingers moving, because sometimes your joint pain hurt. Like I can't do this sometimes. I can't do this sometimes, let alone this. But I'm talking to you. And also, a secret, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little anxious. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, in full transparency. And this is calming me down a little bit, because when I have the slime in my hand, I have to be aware that it doesn't fall, that it doesn't drizzle. But I can also talk to you that even though lupus is a chronic, complex autoimmune disease, people don't understand how much living with chronic pain, whether you have arthritis, which, I do, yeah. Whether I have osteoarthritis, which I do, which I have rheumatoid arthritis, guess what? I do. I'm not saying this proudly. It just is what it is. Lupus is complex, and most people don't live with one autoimmune disease. They live with multiple. Yeah. I mean, Joel, how many diseases do you have?
So I have juvenile arthritis. I have psoriatic arthritis, and in line with the mental health awareness, which I think is always good when it's paired with the Arthritis Awareness Month and Lupus Awareness Month, because many of us suffer with sort of the comorbidities of that as well, don't we?
Because nobody understands how much the pain impacts our life. And if I found a relatively inexpensive way to find joy and work my body, it's changing color. Thank you for noticing. But you didn't. That's why I wanted to point out, in case you weren't noticing, but it's changing color. And if I want, I can add a little bit more blue to it, because it's not as purple as I was hoping. And I had not planned on this, so I'm going to add some more blue to it. But so what I'm really here to share is that the Healthy Voices Impact Fund allows patients to create awareness campaigns. So, the traditional organizations are great, and they're incredible. And without them, I wouldn't have gone to DC last week, 2 weeks, maybe almost 2 weeks ago now. But I was part of Capitol Hill. I went to Capitol Hill.
I saw that. It was awesome.
In the United States. We advocated with our senators, our Congress, our elected officials. Congratulations on everybody in the UK celebrating. I hope there's a celebration. I had the joy of spending a spring in Oxford, and it was great. And making awareness fun. That's what I like to say. I really appreciate, Ricky. I really do want to say lupus awareness is fun. Lupus is not. My walk team names, everybody has a walk. Usually there's walks.
Yeah.
My walk team name is Lupus Awareness is Fun. And when
you
wear the shirt,
I love this. It's just, sorry to interrupt you. It's such a different theme to what we get. Do you know what I mean? It really is. Like everyone bundles in their story and the awareness side as one, and it can cast a big shadow over it. You know what I mean?
But some people go, fun? What do you? And I said, I didn't say lupus is fun. Lupus awareness, wearing the purple shirt, starting the discussion. Whether I'm at a walk or not, it's May. I've been wearing my purple shirts. I'm wearing purple. I know that World Lupus Day is coming up this week, and so is it too soon for my call to action for everybody?
No, go for it. We've got 45 minutes. You can bring that in as many times as you like.
Okay. Well, on World Lupus Day, I would like you to please put on your purple. And I specifically am going to ask you to do it just a little bit more. You put on Donna hat. Nice. Donna hat. Doesn't have to be purple. Wear your purple, but Donna hat. And sorry about that. Grab your favorite beverage. And my favorite beverage just happens to have a purple hair tie and amethyst in it. So I'm infusing my water. And hydrate. It used to be a tea party. where, we'd be like, oh, let's wear a hat and have a tea party because it's nice, it's relaxing, whatever some people might want lemon zinger and some people might want chamomile. So, but some people on World Lupus Day like to celebrate with their favorite beverage, and whether it's water or tea or something stronger. I mean, I like to celebrate World Lupus Day like it's my birthday.
I love that.
So if I'm celebrating with something stronger, let's just say, and it's appropriate since I'm talking with you and the world, cheers.
Yeah. I just love this because, like, for me, every World Arthritis Day, World Psoriasis Day, whatever it might be, I'm asked to share my story, and I'm specifically asked to share it, like the impact, the doom and gloom, that, you know what I mean? I never get to stand on a stage on those days and talk about how far I've come with it or how it's affected me positively, or do you know what I mean? So
no, Joel, I'm sorry,
you met
me now, Joel.
You've totally changed my thinking.
It's a party. I want balloons. I don't know how many years it's been since your diagnosis, but I celebrate my diagnosis day. March 24th. Okay, first of all, let's just be honest. March 24th, 40 years ago. So let's just pretend I'm 29. But so before I was born, I was diagnosed with lupus. They finally told me it was lupus. And everybody's got a diagnosis story. Mine was, and many lupus women, 90% of the patients are women. So I was a teenage girl and I was tired, and, being out, I was part of the drill team, and drill team practiced outside, and I would always get really tired and red in the face, and they'd be like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine, but my skin was reacting. Yeah. So they took me to the doctor and they tested me for mononucleosis 5 times. So at the 6th time, when they tested me for mononucleosis, a little embarrassing, but it's true. Look, I haven't kissed a boy since the last time you tested me for mononucleosis. Can you test me for something else? Yeah. Instead of testing me for something else, the nurse wrote down that I was anxious and depressed.
Helpful.
Cut to, they sent me to a teen psychologist, psychiatrist. He couldn't find anything wrong with me. He said, what's happened? I said, I had to quit drill team because I got red in the face, and then they kept testing me for mono. So, it took him 6 months to figure that part out. Well, what really got you here? Because you seem fine. You seem well-adjusted. You're getting... Okay, you're not getting A's, you're getting B pluses, but you have an after school job at the mall. It's okay. So I don't have mono. I didn't have mono, and the nurse thought I was anxious and depressed because I said, test me for something else. So they didn't test you for something else, they sent you to me? Yeah. So let me take off the hat now.
I'd kind of forgotten. I wasn't seeing it anymore. I'd got used to it.
I live in Los Angeles, which is a cultural thing for all of the people globally watching. He said, well, why don't you just go get a nose job? Then you'll get a boyfriend. Then you'll get kissed. Then you'll get mono.
As a British person, that's just like mind blown that they would say that to a young person.
I don't know what kind of language I'm allowed to use here, so I'm going to just say you can't make this up.
No, you couldn't. You literally couldn't. That's wild. Absolutely wild.
So my mom, okay, I mean, I didn't have a huge nose, but I had I ended up eventually, when I was healthy enough, I did get a nose job. This is not right. I wasn't born this way. I was born, the preoperative blood work came back for the plastic surgery, and he said, you could bleed out on the table on a selective surgery for acute nose. I'm not going to do that. Go back to your doctors and figure out what this is.
It took that for somebody to do the tests needed to spot it in the blood work.
And because there's certain songs and music I find very healing. I don't know about you, but it can either help me if I'm in pain. There's certain relaxing songs I need. Oh, yes. The music is very important. And when how you're sitting in the lab work. So before I got the lab work, one of the how labs have initials. One was PTT. So my PTT came back funky. But when I saw the PTT, I'm like, oh, pretty terrific thing. That's what I'll be after I get my nose job. My mom's like, what? I'm like, because PYT the Michael Jackson song was popular at the time, Pretty Young Thing.
Okay.
And as we now know, Michael Jackson did have a form of lupus.
Yes, I'd forgot about that. I remember hearing that on the documentary.
Just because a lot of people like, oh, I don't know what, lupus isn't that known. Well, Michael Jackson has lupus. Seal has lupus. Nick Cannon has lupus. And these are men with lupus.
Yeah,
90% of the lupus patients are women. Tony Braxton has lupus. And since we're on YouTube, if you do follow me, I believe I'm Amanda Greene or LA Lupus Lady. But the very first time Tony Braxton revealed she had lupus was at a Lupus LA event, and I recorded it for YouTube, and no other media was there. Awesome. So when Rolling Stone announced that Tony Braxton had lupus, the clip of, I have lupus, guys, this is what lupus looks like, I was the photographer. So I can actually say, as part of my lupus advocacy, yes, I won a WeGo Health Award for collaborating, as a patient collaborator. I'm currently enjoying a Healthy Voices Impact Fund, but I can also say, hey, I've been credited as a videographer for Rolling Stone. Thanks to awesome. Tony Braxton. The video is very old, and if you want, I did do a lot of lupus videos back in the day. The editing is vintage, but when you've had lupus 29, let's just say more than 40 years, but when I'm 29, so I'm not going to say that. I am 55. I'm 55 years old. I've had lupus 40 years. Systemic lupus erythematosus. And I also, on top of the arthritis, I live with fibromyalgia. And because I live in so much pain and fatigue is a part of my daily life, as well as many other symptoms, I'm really excited to be here to share my story with Joel.
Yeah, it's all, and you're so refreshing as well. Like I say, maybe it's a UK thing, but like it's all about sharing the story, sharing the impact. To have somebody come on and share the positive side and almost celebrate that. What I would want to just ask you at this point, if we can, like we have lots of people here from like various arthritis backgrounds and fibro and all this sort of thing, but I just realized. Sorry. Yeah. But I realized there might be a lot of people on here that maybe haven't come across lupus a great deal. I know it is one of those, I don't know why, you might know better than me and maybe can include that in your answer, but it seems like one of those ones where you're having that conversation about autoimmune diseases and stuff. It kind of just doesn't always get pulled into that conversation. So could you
90% of the patients are women.
Yeah, well, yeah, mate. Yeah, I never considered that. Yep, true.
Of those 90%, close to 80% are women of color.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just stating facts. Then, to your question, perhaps there's a stigma of women's healthcare. Perhaps there's a women of diversity in healthcare access.
Yeah. So could you maybe just give an explanation about like what lupus is and how it impacts you? So I think that might help some of the people in the audience who this was first time maybe they've heard of it.
Well, and another reason why lupus is so hard to discuss is to understand it, and why the lupus research is so hard is that no two lupus patients are alike. There's some common symptoms that most people have: fatigue, most people have joint pain. Not everybody has hair loss, but some people do. And I know it doesn't, you look like, yeah, this woman doesn't have hair loss. It's like, I have hair loss. I've had clumps of hair fall out. I have organ involvement. And then when you say organ involvement, for me, my organs that are involved are my heart, my kidneys, I don't want to just say my stomach, but like the gastric system. Mm-hmm. is extremely sensitive to food. So it's not like, I have food allergies. It's like I'm allergic to more food than, like, I can't just list the food allergies I have. It's just and the doctors once told me, I can't diagnose you with IBS because then you would be uninsurable. But I can write down that you're extremely you have food sensitivities, and then you'll still be able to maintain your health insurance.
We could be here all night if we started asking.
with complex chronic illnesses, whether it's lupus, which I will explain, A little bit more. It's one of the it's an autoimmune disease, but it is not like AIDS. It is almost, as my doctor said, like the opposite of AIDS. It's like the other side of the coin. Mm-hmm. For me, I had extremely low when they did discover what it was. I had extremely low platelet count.
Yeah.
And the conventional therapies at the time, because now it's years later and there's more therapies, the conventional therapy at the time were prednisone, steroids to build you up. Well, it doesn't just build up your blood cells, it builds you up.
It blows you up. Yeah. Been there and done that.
Please don't make fun of Selena Gomez in pictures.
Yep.
Or other lupus patients. Please understand that if you don't know what somebody's going through, they might be going through something really hard, and the fact that they're doing the best they can deserves applause.
Or the thing is, it's really obvious.
At least understanding.
For those of us that have been there and on that treatment as well, it's really obvious when it's steroid related rather than just some sort of trash media saying.
But if you don't know it's steroids, you're just like, wow, are you pregnant? Or why is your face so puffy? Are you okay? Yeah. And the truth is, no, I'm not okay, but I'm out and about, so I'm better than it is. I'm not in bed.
Yeah.
But I guess one thing before I get off my diagnosis journey is don't be afraid to ask your doctor for questions. And the nurse, had she just, when I said, test me for something else, instead of writing down that I was anxious and depressed, talked to the doctor and said, the patient has requested, even though she was 14 years old, that we test her for something else. Why don't we just give her a CBC? All they were doing was testing me for mono at the time. One CBC would have not explained it all, but would have led them to do more tests. So sometimes you know your body better than your healthcare providers, and it's okay to advocate in the exam room. Yeah. It's okay to advocate in an email to your doctors if you're on a patient portal. If you're lucky enough, I'm not sure.
They're coming here. They're not here yet, but they're coming.
It's okay to advocate in the exam room. It's okay to advocate on the phone to get the appointment that you need. Oh, it's going to take a while. Okay, thank you. I will call back tomorrow at 10 to ask and find out if there's any cancellations. And then guess what? Call back at 10 and keep calling back at 10. Nice to talk to you again. How's your Friday going? Oh, good. Any cancellations for today? It's Friday. Maybe it's a beautiful day. Somebody's canceled and I just want to get in. You have to advocate from outside the exam room, from online, from the phone, from wherever you are. Sometimes you have to advocate for your own health.
And with that conversation comes up a lot on here because so many people share their story and talk about how they didn't advocate for themselves. And know one of the reasons they do advocate is because they realize that if they'd have done that a lot earlier on, it would have helped the situation. And there are so many sort of barriers you face for that. Well, like take your experience, with some of the interactions.
I didn't advocate for myself. I mean, it was nice to talk about my life, but it's like, no, I'd rather would have known because I was still bruising spontaneously. I still had, horrible issues. But the joy of lupus is that there are periods of flares and there's periods of remission. And if you get a good doctor and a good healthcare team, because usually you'll need more than one specialist and your life becomes a bunch of appointments. It's really good to have friends that understand. And if you can explain what's going through it, like, look, it's complex. There's going to be some days I'm good and there's going to be some days I'm bad. And the bad means it's really bad. I mean, how do you explain arthritis to your friends when you're 16?
Yeah. With
lupus, it's like extremely sensitive to sunlight. I lived in Southern California. Like social life wasn't just going to the beach. Everything was outside. Yeah. If you look at me, I don't really have the tan that most people have. It's like, well, and when I did go outside, I wore big hats and like nice I would be known for like, oh, Amanda's got a cool cover up. The big hat, like, oh, another hat. Yes, another hat. Isn't it? It's cute. I was, finding my way of not making it obvious that lupus is my life.
Yeah. And if people wanted to get involved more with like this Lupus Awareness Month, or where would you sort of direct people to go if they just wanted to sort of fill in those knowledge gaps or let's say get involved in terms of action?
How many resources is too many?
Well, is there a sort of a good starting point you'd suggest if someone just
great starting point for anybody anywhere would be the Lupus and Allied Diseases Association. And their website is LADA, LADA, Inc.org.
Yeah.
And they're they're a national organization in America, but the information about lupus is pretty global.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of resources. There's different organizations, Lupus UK, if you're in the UK. There's lupus.org for Lupus Foundation of America. I just went and advocated with them. There are resources and there's patients like me. If you search lupus on whatever platform, whether you're on LinkedIn or YouTube or Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. I mean, Facebook, there's 27 good lupus communities. But there's I mean
also Facebook
that I'm like relatively I mean, it's just Facebook is a great connecting place. I still post on Twitter because that's where I can connect with patients, stakeholders, and doctors and the rheumatologist community. And this month I'm sharing lots of videos with lupus and slime and how slime can help. And I mean, yes, it's more than just the occupational therapy and the physical therapy. It really is the escape. It's it's a treat for the senses. It's like, it's good. You touch it, you feel, you smell it, you pull it, you see it. I mean, you see it, and like you can pull it and just like let it drizzle. It's just, there's so many ways that I have found that slime helps my mind and body.
Yeah.
And just, whether it's a lupus walk, whether it's wearing purple on May 10th, making a small donation to Lupus and Allied Diseases Association if you can. I know everybody here probably has a condition or knows, donate to your favorite charity. It's Arthritis Month, Arthritis Awareness Month, whatever organization that you truly support and believe in. I'm just really excited to be able to share lupus awareness in my way, like letting, I don't think slime is going to be traditional. I don't honestly think, Lupus UK or the Lupus Foundation of America is really going to like let me use slime.
I think, do you not think, like, when you were sharing that earlier about that fund and everything, I think that just demonstrates right there the power of independent advocates, because like we've all done those things where we partner with organizations and organizations do amazing work, but normally behind those projects, they're funded by pharma or something, and there's very strict rails you have to stick to and things you can and can't do. So what you're doing right there just shows how, if you put that power into the patient's hands, how creative, inventive, and novel. And I guarantee you there'll be people watching this show that will remember this that you've done tonight, and somebody we've had on who's had a massive backing from an organization, but it's another sterile, similar delivery kind of method. I don't think I'm unfair in saying that. Am I? Just, for me, it just highlights the power of the independent,
And also, if you're a patient in America, or if you know somebody in America, the Healthy Voices Impact Fund for next year, applications are available now.
Okay, cool.
And when you said you got to take advocacy into your own hands, that's another reason why I wanted to use slime.
Awesome metaphor.
You've got to really take advocacy into your own hands. But sometimes when you do that, when you live with arthritis,
definitely helps.
You really need to take your healthcare into your own hands, because if you're not healthy enough to do the advocacy, maybe I wouldn't have been able to go to DC. I honestly believe slime helped me get healthy enough to walk and move my body. And if you're on Instagram at Miss Amanda Greene, MSAMA, I know how to spell my name, right? AMA. Brain fog is real. MSAMANDAGREENE. I actually used part of my Impact Fund grant to choreograph a slime dance. I don't know if you remember what slam dancing was.
I do, yeah.
Back in the day, or maybe you've heard about it from your parents or grandparents, depending on how old you are. But sometimes living with lupus feels like a slam dance, and you've just been like knocked off your, can I just say butt?
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah,
the other word I was gonna say.
We talk about. See, I've always made this point on the show for anyone who's new here. By the way, guys, it's like we talk about serious conditions. We talk about the realities of living with those, the mental health realities of living with those. If we can't curse occasionally as well, whilst talking about some really heavy topics, then I don't know. It just doesn't balance to me.
Right.
So you're free to say what you want.
It knocked me off my ass.
Yeah.
You know, like lupus can knock you off your ass. So when I was playing with slime and I realized, like, what can I do to make an impact during May, other than just showing how much power and fun it is to smell the grape slime, which I mean, now I wish I could just give everybody slime, and you should all go to, get your own.
I didn't even know smell and slime was a thing.
Right, smell-o-vision, not yet. But so what I did was I did slime dancing, and I don't know if you know this about me, Joel, but I like Lady Gaga.
No, I haven't picked up on that one, actually. I'll have to do some more digging.
Okay, so well, I was reading a Vanity Fair article and about Lady Gaga, and I liked her songs, enough to read the article in Vanity Fair. And then I read the line that she has borderline lupus and her aunt Joanne died of lupus. And then I basically, not overnight, but I soon became a little monster. And Lady Gaga has changed my life.
That's awesome.
Like, not just the music.
Yeah.
But her father has a restaurant in New York that I went the very first, when it opened, I went, like how I celebrate World Lupus Day. Usually on World Lupus Day, I like to go to New York and I celebrate by eating dinner or lunch at Joanne's. Because it feels like it's a place that they understand what being a lupus patient is, and they respect that, and they treat me like a queen. And
I've never heard of it. I just love all these little ways of, like, your individual sort of coping mechanisms. So we had someone on recently that used a sort of clicker all the way through the show, and because that was their way of sort of helping them. And you've got slime, and you go to the restaurant, and there's certain music that you relate to, and I love all of this because it's really showing people that it doesn't need to be that, I don't know, vanilla copy and paste. You go to doctors, you get a medication, and you move on, sort of thing. There are so many other things you can put into that to that mix, isn't there?
And Lady Gaga has this wonderful foundation called Born This Way, which raises mental health awareness. And as part of that, she has this wonderful blog called Channel Kindness. There's channelkindness.org. And through channelkindness.org, I have written about lupus. I've written about thriving to strive and finding my flair and what it's like to live with lupus and getting Joanne vibes at the Lupus Research Alliance Gala. It's, like if I went to this lupus event and all of a sudden, like, Lady Gaga shows up, I'm like, wait, what? Like, because her father has, her father's sister, Lady Gaga's aunt, died of lupus. Her father is on the board of the Lupus Research Alliance. Mm-hmm. And earlier this week, the Lupus Research Alliance is starting to share this program during May called My Lupus, and they featured me, which was great. And it's nice because everybody's lupus is different. So that's what I shared, that I have cognitive impairment, which is also known as brain fog, that I have organ involvement, that I have hair loss, that I have fatigue and joint pain. And not everybody's going to have those symptoms. Everybody's lupus is different. But I was diagnosed at 15. Everybody, and diagnosis journeys, everybody has a different one. So I'm just excited to share that right now it's May and I'm doing okay. Some might say better than okay. Some might say that I've found the flair.
Yes, I was going to ask you about your lupus with the flair hashtag. Do you still use the flair hashtag? Because that's how I remember when I first
that's how I truly try to live lupus with flair.
Yeah.
Because flair is an F word. And I know we've talked about the swearing before, but it's a different kind of F word. When you live with lupus, flair means that your disease is active. And with lupus, you kind of want to keep your disease. Like, I have lupus and I like to know it's here, but I like it down. I don't want it to be like having the party like the pom-poms. And there's periods of flare and there's periods of remission. And I switched the word around because I thought flare was like, oh, flare, you know, I like that kind of flare. But when you live with flare, disease takes over your life. You have to cancel your plans. You have to start making more doctor's appointments. Sometimes you have to increase your treatment. Then those treatments come with side effects. And you don't know how long it's going to last. You don't know if it's going to get worse. You don't know if it's going to get better. And that's the whole thing about lupus is every day I wake up saying, is today the day I'm going to get a flare? I mean, I don't think that way. I've actually changed my mind to say, today is the day that I'm going to have a good day. And knowing if a flare happens, it will happen and I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
But I strive to live with flare while avoiding or fighting a flare. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I've had lots of conversations with people saying about who won't use like the term warrior and things like that, because I'm not fighting against what I am, and I've got to learn to live with it. And for a long while, I stopped using terms like warrior and things like that. I will often talk about fighting because some days I need to get into that mindset. If not, I wouldn't get up and do anything. But yeah, I totally get that. And there's lots of people in the community that feel that way about sort of like embracing it and you know, sort of like working with it rather than the whole, because if not, I don't know about you, for me, our chronic illnesses, there's lots of grief cycles involved with that, and there'll be times you can remember what you used to be able to do and what you can't do, and if you're in that constant mindset, you're never going to get past the grief and do anything else.
Oh, for me, I don't have kids, I don't have a husband, but guess what? Yay me! I went to Capitol Hill and I was able to advocate. And yay me, at the end of the month, I'm going to New York and I'm going to have dinner at Joanne's and I'm going to be in Connecticut and I'm going to see somebody who, you know, really makes me happy. Like I've got friends in Connecticut that like bring me such joy. And I don't have children, but there's going to be babies and twins and Frenchies. And I don't have a dog. I don't have 2 dogs. I don't have 1 kid. I don't have 3 kids. But guess what? I get to borrow my friends' kids and I get to borrow my friends' dogs, get totally exhausted, and then I get to come home and rest.
Yeah. But
there are people that are lupus moms and moms with arthritis and moms with fibromyalgia. And I understand that. I can't understand that. I honestly can't. But I know that I'm already like after this, I'm doing what I can during May, but I'm getting ready to celebrate the end of May with my friends, with my family, and at Joanne's with a wonderful meal. And, you know, maybe I'll write another article for Joanne for Channel Kindness and thank Lady Gaga for having this incredible restaurant that makes me feel like it's a safe place to celebrate who I am.
It just goes to show that how personal those journeys are, though. Do you know what I mean? And everyone's got their own preferences, and there's something we need to remind organisations when they're sort of releasing resources and support, and that everyone's got their own view on what their journey looks like to them and what their desirable outcomes are. So yeah, thank you for giving a different side to the coin that we often get on the show. I'm conscious of your time, and I know you were really keen to talk about, if we had time, like clinical trials, I believe. Is that something you want to drop in and tell us a bit more about? Because it's something that really doesn't come up on this show very often. So
wow.
Yeah, no, it just doesn't. So, all ears.
Well, if you live with lupus or arthritis, whatever you live with, if you want to improve treatments, it starts with you. Yeah. And I live in Los Angeles, which I know not everybody lives in, like maybe a research center, but there's a few different hospitals that are doing studies for lupus. Sometimes they're observational and they just ask, you know, it's just they ask you questions about your life. Sometimes it's interventional, where if it's a new medication, you can take the drug, you can, you know, you might be given a placebo, you might be given the medication, and then they're going to trust you. But and it might be sometimes just giving your blood. Like this week, actually, I don't think it's on World Lupus Day, but I think maybe the day after World Lupus Day, I'm going to give my blood, because vaccines are safe for everybody, but they were not tested on the immune compromised. So after market, they still want to know how are the immune compromised dealing with their COVID booster, vaccines and boosters. So I am in a study. I think I don't hope I'm not violating. I'm not going to say what it's called or anything. I don't want to. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get
previous experience tells me you're probably best not to.
Sorry, yeah. Where basically I'm donating my blood every 3 months, and I donated my knowing that they were doing the lab work. I gave my lab work before I got vaccinated, 1 week after my vaccine, 2 weeks after my vaccine, 1 month after my vaccine, 3 months after the vaccine, and then after the second, and then after the booster, the first two. And then I have been part of the clinical trial, and they keep saying, if you want to, we're doing long-term studies and you seem to be participating and willing to give us your blood. Yeah, I mean, that seems like vampire. They're not vampires, I promise. but clinical trials, wherever you live, whatever you have, you can help. And whether you fit into the trial or not, maybe somebody in your community does. And sharing what clinical trials are available is really important for advocates and people living with our disease to improve the state of our disease. Because when I was first diagnosed, there were 0 treatments for lupus. They were, really, yeah. I mean, hydroxychloroquine is originally a malaria drug, and yes, it works for many lupus patients, but it was not created for lupus patients. And due to clinical trials and people, not like me, but people who have volunteered for clinical trials, so people like me, clinical trial volunteers, there are now 3 drugs for lupus. Well, that's not enough because there's more than 3 types of lupus, and like I said, we have so many symptoms. 3 is better than 0, and there's so many trials, medications in the pipeline for every condition. So clinical trials, I think, if you're into it, you want to do a little bit more, talk to your doctor, say, hey, do you know of any clinical trials I can participate in that I might qualify for? There's websites, and I don't want to just give the one for America, but clinicaltrials.org, I believe, is a really good website. I participated with the many clinical trials. There's so many ways you can help. And you're like, oh, I don't want to be potent prodded. I don't want to be given a new medication. There's still ways where your patient experience can help. Yeah. Even if like a drug is like getting new marketing, a new labeling, sometimes they need patients to just say, oh, this is understandable. Like I understand the directions. And that is considered a clinical trial. You can do
focus. They call them focus groups over here, and I do a lot of those. And what I would say with those guys,
that's why I was gonna say the terms might be different.
Yeah, they're gonna be a little bit different. Like where I'll be asked about, like a biologic pen injector shape or size or whatever. But again, I think it's really important, guys, while we're on this subject, is like to keep pushing for that stuff to come from the patients, because how a lot of those come up here in the UK, it might be different in America.
Patient perspective.
Yeah, patient perspective, but a lot of them, though, the pharma groups will go to the organisations who'll then go to their same pool of 2 or 3 sort of reliable people. And I'm in them pools, but I don't speak for a whole community. They need to include a group. So yeah, guys, if you want to get involved, then yeah, you need to be listening to what Amanda's saying here, because has a real impact down the line, doesn't it? It generally has a real impact down the line. Is there any other suggestions on that topic, like where you think people could get involved? Like if it doesn't, like I say, we've talked about focus groups and you've talked about clinical trials where you do get poked and prodded. Is there any sort of other thing in that space where maybe people could, whether it's like reviewing literature or all that other stuff?
I don't know about the world, but in America, sometimes the leading pharmaceutical companies have patient advisory councils.
Yes, yeah.
And that is one way where some people might be anti-pharma, but if you collaborate with pharma, that's one huge way to impact change. I mean, I went to Capitol Hill one day, and that's one way to advocate for change legally and access and all that stuff. But another way to really advocate change is from within, working with the people that are treating us, letting them know what we really experience, letting them know what we think about, what we feel, and how they can truly improve our quality of life if they do things if you just shift a little bit.
Yeah. And that you used the word collaborate, and I've said it before on this show, and I'll say it again, guys. Like, it's really important to remember, like, you've got to work with them. Shouting and screaming and doctor bashing and all that sort of thing will literally get us nowhere, as in terms of involvement of patients and co-production and everything else.
And if you have a chronic illness, kindness matters, because I know you might be in a lot of pain when you call the doctor's office, but the woman or man who answers the doctor's phone is the one who's going to get you in. So if you're not having a good day and you need to get a squeezed in appointment, hi, Michelle, how is your day going?
Yeah.
Really sorry to bother you. I am not doing that good. I'm not doing that well. And I would really like to see the doctor as soon as possible. I know you're busy. I know he's swamped. He or she is swamped.
Yeah.
But is there anything you can do? And the truth is, you don't pull that every month. Obviously, you know, hopefully you schedule or when you have your appointments. But if you need help, they're the ones who are going to get you in to see the doctor.
Yeah.
And it's much better than an emergency ambulance visit to, to the hospital.
Yeah. As somebody that I have a real bugbear about, you'll get an Instagram account pop up, call themselves an advocate or a patient leader, and all they do is bash. Like, if you really want to be an advocate and you really want to make change, listen to what Amanda's saying, listen to what I'm saying, and that whole, like, be part of the solution, collaborate, co-produce, work with the system to try and fix the system. Because I think constantly button up against it, because I'm only saying this, by the way, Amanda, because I've had a stream of DMs this week, an absolute stream. I posted about how my appointment had been cancelled, and the amount of screaming and I got in my DMs about change doctor, demand this, demand that. And it's not the doctor. The doctors are not cancelling the appointments. How it works a bit differently in the UK, I appreciate, to America. It's that the system is creaking so much they physically can't fit everything in. Like
chronic illness is a full-time job, because our health is one thing, but then, like, okay, well, I'm doing good. I'm doing well. I'm having an okay day today. So what appointments do I have in the next month? Are they confirmed? Do I need approval from my insurance for a certain procedure? And then make sure you have the approval. And then, can I get your phone number on the day of the exam, so I can make sure that if there's a problem, I have somebody's phone number to call, not just the 800 number. So I'm going to be on hold for 20 minutes when the exam is only 20 minutes, and then I'm missing there's different ways to advocate. I don't want to be somebody negative all the time, but you've got to accentuate the positive. It's Lupus Awareness Month.
Yeah. You have certainly accentuated the positive.
Don your hat. Drink, whatever wear your purple on May 10th. If you can, wear your hat and enjoy your favorite beverage.
I'm loving the amethyst in the bottle, by the way. That's like such detail.
It infuses my water, I think. Even if it doesn't, it's pretty.
Yeah, that's it, and it fits the theme.
That's where I'm at. Like, I just, like, if it's pretty, if it makes me smile, how can it be bad? It's not bad if it's like, this hat. Are you serious right now? Like,
I think you work out. You're better than me. Only people in Manchester wear hats like that in this country, but it works for you.
Okay, hey. Trying to get tickets to Wrexham versus the LA Galaxy.
Oh, is the Wrexham thing actually taking hold in America as well? Because over here it's sort of like
the Ryan Reynolds thing. Everybody wants to
go. Because here, I think, unless you're in Wales, you're not really paying a lot of attention to it. But it's amazing what he's doing.
Okay, so my battery just says I'm running low. Can you hang on 2 seconds while I actually plug it in? Because I thought
of course.
I do not want to lose you.
Guys, keep talking in chat.
Lupus awareness was fun. Yeah. Reality is lupus patients are...
To avoid Amanda feeling like she has to break into a dance to kill time, please put some comments in chat if anyone's got anything to say. Amanda, are you happy to take a few questions before we?
Of course, let's have a dance break.
So while Amanda's dancing, if anyone has any questions in chat, please do let us know and we'll feature them. While we're waiting for any to come through, Amanda, I'd want to say is, like, for me, thank you for not just the positive stuff, but also the educating, filling in a few gaps, because, like, I'm in the autoimmune arthritis space, but lupus is
We
something.
are in the autoimmune
Yes,
arthritis
yeah,
space.
yes. Sorry, yes, but like I don't have that much exposure to lupus. Like you'll see the butterfly rash posters on the waiting room wall and stuff like that. But you don't. I don't. We've not had that conversation on here before. We've not had too many people in our community talk about it. So I really appreciate you sharing.
Like it's kind of like how the lupus community has embraced butterflies. That's how I did. That's kind of what I did with flare, because the butterfly rash starts on your nose and goes across your cheeks and sometimes all the way across your face, and it's raised red bumps, and it's not pretty. It's not like a butterfly is on your face. Oh, and just so like that, I switched flare. I've never heard of lupus before tonight, so thank you for teaching me a little bit about it and making me aware of it. I'll be sure to do more research. Thank you, and keep doing what you're doing. Thank you, Ricky. If you want to know more about lupus, I don't want to say just Google it. There are plenty of resources. Reach out to me. I'm on Twitter at Ellie Lupus Lady. I'm on Instagram at Miss Amanda Greene. Joel knows how to contact me. You want the hat? You can't have. Well, come. I would say come and get it.
There is no way you're getting near cheeks on a 10-hour flight to LA. I know that much right now.
If you connect with me, I'll give you the Amazon link.
And guys, anyone watching this back or listening to this back on the podcast, I will put links to all of I can't promise I'll put links to everything in the show notes because we've covered an awful lot, but there'll be Amanda's contact details. There'll be some of the main lupus sites that we've mentioned, and also
communicate with your doctor, communicate with your healthcare team, and it's okay to advocate in the exam room. It's okay to ask for what you need.
Really
what's my best dance move? It's a slime dance, baby.
This is a first for the Chronic Pain Club talk show, guys, in that we've got dancing on the show.
I'm going to open this up, and it's basically the pull. Oh, I guess it's actually it's kind of like the slime pull. It's like the pony. I guess.
Isn't that Love Shack? Isn't that the Love Shack dance?
Love Shack, baby.
Or am I thinking of something else, guys? But it reminded me.
We'll have to do another interview with Joel where where everybody gets their slime and we do dance moves together.
That sounds equally as
slime dance routine. Like increase your range of motion. Do what you can. If you can only pull this far, that's good. Pull it in. Keep it low. That
sounds as terrifying as it is entertaining, which I'm sure this community will be delighted to see me get into a corner, because we had a chap on here who does cooking to educate about chronic pain and cope with chronic pain, and I somehow left that show agreeing to do a live cook along with him in future months. So
okay,
we can do the dance thing. Yeah, we can do a slime dance thing, guys. You're only going to force me into it anyway, so we might as well just say it now. We'll do it.
Boom. You know you're gonna slime. You're gonna slime dance.
Yeah. Oh, I've just suddenly lost Amanda, but hopefully they'll come back, guys. Any more questions? I'm not dancing to fill the time. Can I just say that right now? I'm not dancing to fill the time. But if anyone's got anything they want to let me just see if I can get the picture back. So I'm just waiting. Amanda dropped off there, so it must be a connection issue. I'm sure it had nothing to do with the dancing. But if anyone's got any more questions, guys, or any more comments, please drop them in now. And then if Amanda is able to rejoin us, we'll put them up on screen for her to answer. But it looks like you guys had great fun with that. But how nice is it, guys? Like, we do share a lot of heavy stuff, and we know that it's the nature of the talk show. It's the nature of what we're trying to cover here. And to raise awareness, you need to pull on heartstrings and get people to understand the real everyday impact as best you can. They're never going to understand fully. But, we get people, we have to get people to understand that. So have somebody come on like Amanda and share that, the other side to that, and the embracing it. Like, it makes me feel like I need to do more. I know that much on that side of things, because, my go-to, being someone who's quite creative and I use words and stuff like that, you can really you can give people a gut punch, 3 words talking about the bad days and that. And it's already got me thinking, how can I do stuff around the good side, and I know we do the Twitch stuff, and you could say that's positive. Anyone that's new here, by the way, twitch.tv/Joel vs Arthritis. If you want to get involved and play games with a lot of the guys, you're seeing here in chat tonight. But yeah, I don't know what happened to Amanda's connection there. We've gone past 8 o'clock anyway. Let me just see if I can. They're not with us in the stream at the moment or in the green room. So I'll assume that's a connection issue. What are we doing here? Let me get my screen sorted. That's a bit better. That's very interesting. It was interesting, guys. It was awesome. It was awesome. And like I say, it was a nice change of pace. It was a really nice change of pace because I'm well aware when we cover some of the stuff we do on the show on a Sunday night, it's not always the best time. People are going into their Mondays. They might already be worrying, stressing, etc. about their chronic illness, and then somebody comes on and shares something quite deep. Not happening, Simon. I'm not dancing at all. I can't dance. I grew up through all my teens and my 20s playing in a band, and I had a guitar in my hand and a microphone, and therefore I never had to learn to dance because, not being funny, if you're on stage with a guitar around your neck, you don't need to dance afterwards to do what you need to do. So I never had to learn to dance. So my idea of dancing is like proper dad dancing, can of beer in one hand and thumb in belt buckle in the other, because I have no idea what to do, and then just move my shoulders. That is literally it. I've never been able to dance. My brother tried to teach me moves like the lawnmower and reversing the tractor and, and all them other things. Not happening. Not happening. Punky said to me at the start that she seems more optimistic than anyone on Dank on that tree. That is true, yeah, on Minecraft and in Britain as well, both islands. It is awesome that near confirming that I can't dance. Absolutely can't dance. Absolutely can't dance. But yeah, I didn't need to. The life I led in those formative years, I didn't need to. And also, not to bear in mind, I spent all of my teenage years in a wheelchair or on crutches. I didn't know what to do with my arms. Take my arms away, I might be all right, but my arms were always occupied. Guys, I've got a feeling we're probably not going to be seeing Amanda anymore. They've not dropped back into the stream. So I imagine there's a technical issue there or somewhere. It might be they didn't plug the device in that they went to. Maybe they got distracted with the dancing and therefore wasn't able to do the job they originally wanted to do. We all know what it's like with brain fog. Many of us do. Me and Snuffle talk about it at great lengths. But yeah, I actually love that, guys. I'm going to share that as a last comment. Thank you for joining us, guys. Thank you for by far the most chat we've had. So I think that's a lot of credit to Amanda and the people that follow her. When this video comes up, remember we've got Suxine and Katie's interviews to go up on our YouTube channel shortly. This one will be along after that. We'll put all the links in the show notes, as many as I can anyway. I know we covered a lot there. And same as if you're listening to this back in the podcast. Guys, thank you for being awesome tonight. Thank you for being so engaged. Yeah, that was a real treat, that one tonight. I will see you all soon. I'm back on Twitch, twitch.tv/JoelVersusArthritis tomorrow night, Monday night, where we'll be streaming Minecraft with some of these awesome folks you see here in chat. If not, I'll join you next week for another Chronic Pain Club at 7 o'clock GMT time here on our YouTube channel. And if you've not done so already, please hit the subscribe button or the follow button, wherever it is that you're watching. It really does help us reach more people. Lindsay, thank you for joining us for the first time, I believe. Anyway, thank you. Really appreciate it. And Ricky, I might be able to get talked into coming onto Minecraft. I don't know if I've got stream in me or not. Give me 20 minutes and I'll see how I feel once I've stretched my legs. Self-care and all that. All right, guys. Until next time, have an awesome weekend. Have a great Monday. Oh, Amanda's just come back. I'll let Amanda come in just to say a quick goodbye and then we'll be off, guys.
I'm so sorry.
So, did you get distracted from plugging in your device when you were doing the dancing? Was that it?
I must have. I don't know. I'm so sorry. My energy. I think my energy stopped. Like I just apologize.
No, don't.
The thing with lupus is expect the unexpected, and that's pretty much what happened today.
Yes,
so
it is.
I'm so glad I got back in time to say thank you so much for this opportunity to share. Please connect with me. I mean, Joel and I were connected, but I'm on Twitter at LA Lupus Lady all month long. I don't want to share any secrets, but I'll drop the bomb here. I'm going to get slimed on World Lupus Day. You don't want to. On Instagram, I'm Miss Amanda Greene, MS Amanda Greene, Greene. Thank you so much for everything. that you guys have done. If there's anything I can do for you individually, one-on-one, whether you have lupus, osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, mental health
We'll have to
issues.
get you back to talk about those other conditions, definitely, and living with multiples.
Happy to share. I'm not necessarily going to promise you the purple hat, though, because
no.
It's World Lupus Day week, and I'm really excited. But thank you so much for this opportunity, Joel, and the work you're doing for the Chronic Pain Club is just outstanding, and I'm so honored, truly, to have been a part of it. I'm glad that everybody knows. Let's just say it. Shit happens, and plan for the unexpected when you live with chronic pain, and appreciate the work that Joel is doing for the community, because I'm truly grateful.
Thank you. It would be nothing without people like you joining us to talk, Amanda. So thank you for your time. Thank you for coming back to say a quick goodbye. Enjoy your slime. Enjoy your slime. I think Amazon sales in slime have just gone through the roof whilst we've been online.
I personally like Slomoo, SLOMOO.
Okay. There you go, guys. You got your link now. And yeah, thank you so much, Amanda. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day.
There might be a discount code for slime coming at me this week.
All right. Okay. Well, what's your socials then for that? If you want me to share, if you do get something, send it over to me and I'll share it with the community during the week.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much. I really, truly am grateful for all that you do for the community, and especially for letting me share my story.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks for joining us. Have a good day, Amanda, where you are. And and enjoy Los Angeles.
Always.
See you later.
Hats off to Joel.
On that note, guys, see you all later. Goodbye.